Hi everyone, it's Terry here from nutsaboutsstamping.com. One of my favorite Christmas stamp sets is Cookie Cutter Christmas because it is so much fun to craft with. Creating with these delightful characters will brighten even your coldest winter days. This simple Christmas card that I'm going to make today will guarantee a happy smile from anyone who receives it, and it's really easy to create with the help of your Big Shot. So I'm going to have a card base that's very vanilla. I've cut it 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it on the 4 1/4 mark, and my card is going to be portrait. And right away, I'm going to bring in my Big Shot, and I'm going to use an embossing folder to emboss the front of my card. And I'm going to do that using the softly falling embossing folder. For a minute, I forgot what it was called. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my card front into the folder, and you can see that I've got the fold line here. I'm going to leave it open and I'm going to run it through the Big Shot. When you use these basic embossing folders, you use your Big Shot platform, your bottom standard cutting pad, and then you put your embossing folder with your cardstock inside on top, and then your top standard cutting pad, and then run it through. And that'll create a beautiful embossed front for the card. Can you see that? So it's lovely detailed and ready to go. I'm going to use my Big Shot straight away again. This time I'm going to use a different sandwich. There's my Big Shot. I'm going to use my magnetic platform. There's my bottom standard cutting pad. And I'm going to use 2 of my layering circles framelits. Actually, I want the big one to be Cherry Cobbler and the smaller one to be Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to use the scallop edged framelits. And then I'm going to put my top standard cutting pad on, hold it in place, and run that through. And I'm going to create a layer of scalloped circles that's going to be part of my card front. Okay, and I can put this away for now. I'm going to bring in my snail adhesive, and I'm going to layer these straight away. And that detail is ready. Now, to the front of my card, I'm going to add a strip of the Festive Farmhouse Designer Series paper. I think this is my favorite Christmas paper this season. I love the vintage colors in it, and the patterns are really soft, which goes really well with the design that I have. So the next thing I'm going to do is add a strip of Mossy Meadow to the front as well. And I'm just going to overlap it very slightly on top of the Festive Farmhouse paper. Just make sure it's nice and straight. It's nice that this paper has the lines in it so that I can line everything up and make it perfectly straight. All right, and then the next thing I'm going to do is a little bit of stamping. So I have a scrap piece of very vanilla cardstock, and I'm going to bring in the Reindeer from the Cookie Cutter stamp set, and I want to stamp it, and then I want to use my Stampin' Blends to color it. So when you use your Stampin' Blends, you want to make sure that the ink that you use for the main image is an ink that won't run when you color over top of it. So that's why I use my Jet Black Stays On ink. It's a special kind of ink, and it also has a special kind of cleaner. Let me show that to you. This is the Stays On all-purpose cleaner, and it helps you clean the Stays On ink off of your stamps. All right, now what I'm going to do is bring in my Stampin' Blends. I have my Crumb Cake, and I've got the Duo, and then I'm going to use the Cherry Cobbler for the nose detail on my reindeer. Give him a little red nose. And then what I'll do is I will take my crumb cake, and I will color the reindeer, and I'll use both my light and my dark and blend them together, and I'll be back in a minute when this is all colored to show you what it looks like. There it is all ready. I did the darker crumb cake on the face, and then I did the lighter crumb cake on the antlers and the outside part of the ears, and then the dark crumb cake on the inside part of the ears. Now, what makes this so easy is that you're going to punch it out using the cookie cutter builder punch. When I first got this punch, I thought, well, this is like a gingerbread man or a snowman, and this is the reindeer. How does that work? What you do is you insert it in upside down, and the reindeer antlers go where the legs are of the snowman and the gingerbread man, and then you just punch it out. And there we go, the little reindeer is done. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to create a phrase for the front of my card, and I'm going to do that with the help of my Banners for You stamp set and matching framelits. And I'm going to coordinate everything. So my banner is going to be crumb cake. I'm going to ink that up and stamp it down on a scrap piece of Very Vanilla. And then before I die cut it, I'm going to use 2 of the words from the Merry Christmas to All stamp set. So I'm calling on a lot of my products that I already own and combining them together to make this card. So I'm going to stamp the Merry in the top part of the banner. And I'm going to stamp Christmas in the bottom part of the banner. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to use the matching thinlet and my Big Shot with my magnetic platform. It's exactly the same sandwich as I used for my layering circles. Just get it straight on here. And then run it through. And I believe that to be the last detail on my card. All right. So let's put everything together, shall we? So I've got my card base that I've already started, and what I want to do is use my snail adhesive, and I'm going to attach the banner towards the top of my card, and then I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to use some leftover pieces on this sheet, and I'm going to attach my reindeer to the scallop circle, and I'm going to put him a little bit on an angle like so, and then I'm going to add some snail adhesive, and I'm going to press him down like that to complete my card. And there we go. Now let me show you one other idea. I made a similar card, but I used a different embossing folder for the background. And leave a comment and tell me which one you prefer. Do you prefer the one that I made live for you, or do you prefer the one with the bigger dots in the background? Regardless, for a complete listing of the supplies that I used and the measurements for all of the layers, please hop over to my blog, www.nutsaboutstamping.com. And while you're on my blog, make sure you're a newsletter subscriber, because I have a 12 weeks of Christmas campaign happening right now, and my last week is coming up, and I show you how to make Christmas tags using the cookie cutter stamp set. So you'll have some other fun ideas for this amazing and really fun Christmas set. I'm Terry. I am Nuts About Stamping. Make sure you create something beautiful today too. Bye for now.